Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
So excited for our next guest, who's a Reiki practitioner and esthetician from Third Eye. Candy, excited to talk today all about self-care, self-improvement, energy healing, and all things that make us feel good. And she's one of those people. She's got an aura about her, and she's helping people in so many different ways feel better and really do better in your life overall. So first and foremost, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, Jill. I'm good. Thank you. That was sweet. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm doing great. Pleasure to have you here. I got to Google around and search you and see all that you do. It's exciting. There's so many things that you're helping people with, and you're based where in Oklahoma specifically?
Choctaw. So it's in the metro right outside. It's like a little suburb of Oklahoma City.
Very cool. I've heard of it. Never been there. It's on my bucket list of trying to get to all the states one day, but then when you have kids, you don't have much time. But
I
I've heard
know.
it's beautiful there. So thank you
Yeah.
for being here. How can we reach out to you if someone's interested in contacting you?
So the best way to get a hold of me is through my Instagram at @thirdeye_candy. My link to book is in the bio, and that's the best way to make an appointment. All my contact information is there.
Perfect. Well, we're excited to get started. And I know there's a lot of things that you do. I want to talk about the Reiki. I want to talk about the estheticianal work, the tarot readings, and everything. But before we do this, and I would like to just know a little bit about you. You said you knew pretty early on what entrepreneurship was. So can you share a little bit about this and tell us your background?
Okay, so I've just always known that entrepreneurship is for me because I'm not really like a rule follower or likes to have a set schedule and a boss type of thing, even though I applaud people who do that because I know that people who have a 9 to 5 and enjoy it, like make the world go round, right? I mean, if we
Yeah.
didn't have those people, we would show up at hospitals and everything else, and half the people wouldn't be there because they just couldn't be bothered with it. But for me, like the freedom to pursue anything that I want, like any direction that I'm feeling called to go is so important to me. So that's why I've always known like I have to start my own thing. I have to, set my own schedule. And I like being able to have time to study. I like being able to have time to have downtime too. I really require that with what I do. I like grinding and then I like resting. So yeah.
And you've always been this active and self-driven, right? It's something you were kind of born with, right? Would you say it's an innate quality of yours?
Yeah, I think most entrepreneurs are like that. They're self-driven. Um, yeah, I think like whenever I have something that I'm interested in, I just have to go for it, you
Yeah.
know? I've always been like that.
Now, in your business, when did you start this, by the way? Could you just share a little bit about the training that goes into energy healing and give us a little bit of that background?
Sure. So I actually started as an esthetician 15 years ago. Um, and I started that because, well, okay, so let's go back to me being a kid.
Okay.
I always had issues with my skin, and my mom, who's an angel, she would take me to get facials, right? No, as a single mom, my mom would take me to get facials when I was like 15 years old.
Oh my goodness.
And I loved it. Like, I loved the treatment room, when you go in, it's all dark and like the essential
Everything's clean
oils.
and fresh, and the
Yes, you get in
smells and
your
the light
bed,
music and the
listen to
oil.
music,
Mm,
the
like,
spa
oh,
music. And I
yes.
just loved that. Like, I loved that environment of just feeling like I'm being taken care of and being pampered. And then, of course, it helped me with my skin so much and my confidence. But I just knew right away, like, this is something I want to do. I want to provide that space for people to come and relax. And then kind of as a side thing, people just use you as a sounding board and a confidant. And I loved that. And I've always loved that part of my job. I just love having a place where people feel like they look forward to going and they feel safe going there. And
Yeah.
so, yeah. So I did that. And then I'd say like mid 20s, as I'm on my own healing journey, trying to recover from all the things that happen through life, I started going to therapy and I started getting energy work done on myself. So Reiki and different types of energy work readings and stuff. And I can't stress enough how much that helped me. And so I knew then, I was like, I've got to start studying this and I've got to get into this.
Wow. And,
So,
and you also shared with us, well, at least that I read up on you, and we're going to share with our audience here some of the struggles though, because you grew up in a Baptist church, right? So you're very familiar with Christianity and love
Absolutely.
Jesus, but tell me about the challenges of, living where you do and some of the people who may not believe in energy work, right? I know I've heard this from so many people. It's so sad how people judge, but tell us the obstacles you faced.
Yeah, so I do live in the Bible Belt and I did grow up in the church, so I'm very familiar with Christianity and I have no problem with religion at all. I think I kind of just have a more open interpretation of religion than maybe others, which is totally fine. Everybody's open to their own beliefs. But one of the challenges as I started working my way into the energy work industry is that some people that were I was close with,
Yeah,
neighbors and friends, when they would find out that I did it, they
yeah,
they wanted no part of it because they felt like it went against their beliefs and their religion, which is fine. That's okay. It's just I think I've learned over time
yeah.
to take it as rejection because, at the end of the day, we're all attracting the people who are meant to be in our life. And some people are meant to be in our life long term, and then some people just for a season for us to learn something. So at first I saw it as rejection, but I've learned over time it's everything is meant to happen the way it's meant to happen, and it's okay. I have no hard feelings for any of those people. I understand where they're coming from. Yeah. So, and you know what they say, when one door closes, another one opens, and that has so been true for
That's
me.
Leanne Womack's song. Do you know that song, by any chance? I Hope
Yes,
You Dance, it's called. It's one of my favorites. It's so inspirational. Oh, it's
absolutely.
so true. One door opens, one door closes. And I love that you're so passionate. I could feel your energy. And I'm no energy healer. I'm just a nice person on the other side of this camera, but it's good to talk to someone who's so passionate about what you do. And I know your dad, he was also very inspirational to you as well, right?
Yes. So, oh my gosh, he's so interesting. It's so funny, honestly, because I still learn so much about this man all the time, but he always very much been a business person. So
Yeah.
when it came to having a mentor in business, he was always the one that I go to. He has done so many things and he has been successful, but so many things. He's just the type of guy who's not afraid to try things and pursue different business ventures. Like I'll be talking to somebody and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, back in the 70s when your dad had that gas station." I'm like,
Uh-huh.
what are you talking about? So he's done everything. He's been an airline pilot. He's been a scuba instructor, had a scuba diving shop here in Oklahoma, of all places. I'm like, how does that work? Um, oil rigs, construction company. He's built
Wow.
race cars. He's one of those fun, adventurous guys who can do everything.
That's where you get her from. He's a jack of
Yes.
all trades and master of many, like
It's in
yourself,
my
right?
DNA for sure, for sure. So even though a lot of the stuff that I do, he doesn't know anything about, I mean, he's still supportive. And
Yeah.
when it comes to business, he'll give me advice. And I've learned from him too that, in business as an entrepreneur, you're going to take some L's, but really they're more of lessons than losses. And that's just part of it. That's just part of being an entrepreneur.
Amazing. And let's talk a little about, what gave you this start. You said you struggled with acne, right? So this is back in the beginning. Tell us when you thought about becoming an esthetician.
When I was a kid, When I was
Amazing.
a kid and it helped me, I was around I want to say I was 14 or 15 when I started getting facials, and that's when I knew. And so right out of high school, I went to esthetician school and I think I was actually certified by the time I turned 19, and that's when I started my business. So
You said you were 15 when you started the business?
I think I became certified when I was 19.
Got it.
Because I
Sorry.
started school when I was 18 out of
Amazing.
high school. And so I became certified and yeah, I started my business and I would have like side jobs because you have to buy a bunch of stuff, to get started in any business.
Yeah.
So I'd be working my side jobs and then trying to start my career. And I mean, it was a struggle for like 2 years building my clientele. I remember one time going to my dad and being like, why do I work so much just to spend more money on work?
It's so true, right?
You're gonna be fine. You're gonna make it. I'm like, I don't know.
Oh my
But
goodness. Well, we are excited you're here. We have to have everyone reach out to you on Instagram. It's third eye spelled so lowercase THIRDEYE _candy. Is that correct?
yep, that's right.
Perfect. And I want to talk about the type of services that you provide because did you want to start with energy healing or the estheticianal services? I mean, you do a lot. So I'll ask you to take the reins. What aspect of, what you do did you want to share first?
Well, as much as I love aesthetics, and I do, I love aesthetics, and I never want to give up my aesthetic clients, like my facial clients, but really the direction that I'm wanting to go is energy healing.
Perfect.
So the Reiki is more of the direction that I'm going. Don't
Well,
tell don't tell my clients that I'm going to stop being an esthetician because they'll literally kill me.
no,
So
that's okay. She's
we're
not.
going to keep
She's
that a
not.
secret. No, I'm never going to
Perfect.
quit that. I'm never going to quit.
Oh, great. Well, some people out there who may be listening to us saying, what is energy healing? What is Reiki? A lot of people still don't know. And it's
Yeah.
something I discovered in 2017 when my mother unfortunately was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. So we know she only had a certain amount of time.
Mm,
And we were in New York. We live on Long Island. And, the big New York City hospitals, like you hear of Sloan Kettering and all of a sudden I'm on their website looking around and I saw Reiki. And I'm like, what is looking for, helpful tips and links on their site. I'm like, what is this energy healing? Long story short, she never got a chance to even experience some of that to give her some relief. But that's when I first heard it. It was 2017. And I'm like blown away now how I got goosebumps. I hear about it all the time and the amazing benefits. So I would tell us what it is specifically. People are like, what is this girl saying? Go ahead.
yes. Oh, I'm so sorry about your mom. Oh my
Thank
God.
you. Thank you so much. It's beautiful that I was able to spend her dying breath with her. So I consider it an honor. When she was really sick, she lived with me for the last 3 months of her life, and it was just
Ah,
beautiful. And I had an uncle pass just 3 days ago of a different type of cancer, but I love the fact his family, and actually have the wake tomorrow spent the time with him. And then it's like, well, what's worse? Do you want to die in a car accident quick and go, or would you rather
like,
suffer? But are you really suffering? You get to see your
right.
family talk. I don't know what's better, but it happens to all of us. And we have to grasp that death is part of life and it could be really beautiful and it's just our destiny. So as hard as it is and was, I really have a positive outlook on this because it's something, you mentioned growing up on the Bible Belt, you believe, right? So we know there's something after this. At least I
Yeah.
hope there is. I can't say for sure.
Absolutely.
I get, boy.
Absolutely.
But
That's the
yeah.
better place to be. Honestly, I know
Hmm.
it's so hard watching people that you love, like losing them. And you're right, there's no right way, fast or there's no right way. But it's like so I don't want to say it's bittersweet. My dad currently is battling cancer too. He had part of his lung removed in January and he just
Oh,
finished chemo and radiation and it's tough. So I
yes.
know it's tough, but you learn so much and that's the silver lining. You learn so much and they're always with you. That's the best part. I know it doesn't feel like that always, but they're always
I'm
with.
so sorry. Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for sharing. So what is energy healing? What is
Right.
Reiki for those out there who may not even know still?
Yes, okay, Reiki. So what Reiki is it's a way to cleanse your aura. And our aura, simply put, is the electromagnetic field that surrounds our body. And this has been studied by science for years. It's known. Okay, this is a fact. We all have an energy field around our body. And in this energy field, we have both positive and negative energy. And sometimes that energy belongs to us and it's ours. And sometimes we pick it up from other people because we're constantly interacting with people. And our energy field can project out to 12 feet around our body. So even when you're in public and you're sweeping through people's auras, you can pick up what doesn't belong
Yeah.
to you. Over time, it can really start to weigh you down if you're ever feeling like heavy or depressed or anxious and you can't really identify it, you could need a good cleansing because you could be carrying around energy that's not yours. So, what Reiki helps with is to first cleanse your aura,
Okay.
get rid of what's not yours. So
Mm-hmm.
then you can start to focus on what you actually do need to work on because we all have trauma, energetic blockages. We all do. We have trauma from childhood. We're
Even
all
from ancestors, right? That's something I want to ask you about. I don't know if I've heard about like it's like in your DNA in a sense.
yeah, and it's passed down to you because
Oh,
in a sense, if there are things that your ancestors and people in your lineage were unable to overcome, so to speak, now it's your turn to try,
Got
right?
it. Got it. Yep.
So Reiki helps you with that. It helps identify where the blockages are so that you
Mm-hmm.
can identify it and start to heal through it. Because once you remove these blockages, you can start attracting what you're wanting. If you have a blockage, you're unable to fully attract what it is that you're wanting. And once you remove it, you're able to attract it and kind of level up in different areas of your life.
That's
So
why I'm 46 and still can't find a man, probably.
you're not alone. I'm 33 and single, so
I know I got two kids by myself. I love them dearly. They're 7 and 9, but I've always struggled in that. I feel like that's my, my purpose in a sense to figure this part out. That's like what do they call it when you have a soul's purpose? You're here on earth, right?
absolutely.
And I think my
Absolutely.
purpose is to overcome the fear, the trust, how. So I'm still working on that, Toby. Does Reiki help with that?
Absolutely.
And
I
you
still see my
mentioned,
energy healer, and she helps
wow,
me work through these things all the time. I've
wow.
made leaps and bounds, which is why I was so drawn to it. I'm like, I've got to be able to help people too, you know? She has helped me so much. Like, I've struggled with all these things myself, so I completely understand.
Wow. And there's what, seven main chakras in our body? Like how does that work?
So they each represent different things. So there's your root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown.
Okay.
And they each represent different things, whether it be your feeling of safety, your feeling of expression, your confidence, your trust and your love. And yeah, we can get blockages even throughout life. It doesn't have to come from childhood, and it doesn't have to come from your lineage. I mean, we experience things every day, right? Like from friends and work, and we can hold on to things that get stuck, and we're having a hard time moving past. And that's what Reiki helps with.
Oh my goodness. Well,
And
thank you for this.
yeah, we all help each other heal every day too. Like just having conversations like this, we help each other heal no matter what. So I think sometimes healers get this rap of like, I don't know, anybody can do it, anybody can be trained to do it. And even your friends and family can help heal you every day. You know, that's what we're all here to do for each other. So, yeah.
Wow. And is it true? Like, well, let's talk about some of the other things that Reiki can help with. Like, I know, like, my mom was dying. Like I said, can't cure her, can't fix her, but I have heard miracle stories about that. But no, it helps with pain, right? Like, for example, if someone has a lot of pain, what are some of the things that Reiki can help with? Let's just do an overview of that if you don't mind.
Yeah. So actually, I'm currently studying what's called emotion coding, and it was formulated by a doctor.
Okay.
What it is when emotions get stored in the body, trapped in the body, and can manifest as pain. And so Reiki is kind of the same thing on more of an intuitive level. It is a
Okay.
practical type of procedure because, you know, there are like methods to Reiki and you follow that method. But emotion coding is an even more like practical sense with just like a very methodical approach to removing energy that's trapped in the body that definitely manifests as pain. So even more so than Reiki, I would say emotion coding helps with that because like your knee can be hurting and you learn how to communicate with the subconscious and be like, is this an emotion? And the subconscious, your body
Wow.
responds in a way because your subconscious communicates. It's wild. It's wild. It's so interesting. It has helped me so much.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know what emotion code is. You mentioned it before and just now. How does it work? That's fascinating. Like for example, like I suffer with bad IBS. Is that something emotion code can help with or combination with
Absolutely.
Reiki?
Absolutely. Both. But yes, emotion coding alone, you can actually do emotion coding on yourself. You
Oh,
only need to be certified to do it on other people. But it's actually so simple. You can look it up on YouTube, emotion coding, and it seems so much more simple than you would think. You simply ask your body. You simply ask your subconscious, right?
okay.
Is this pain?
Mm-hmm.
pain coming from an emotion. And the way your body responds, if your body leans back, if your body leans forward, it means something. Your subconscious is the one responding, and your body is just the one communicating, if that makes sense.
Gosh, where am I moving? What am I doing? Oh my gosh. But I've
No, it
struggled
is.
with this since birth, and I've been to doctors, and I have serious pain and bloat every time I eat. And it's not, I've done the
Oh,
diet elimination, I've done everything, and I'm not allergic to gluten or anything. I've done every test at a big hospital in Pennsylvania back in 2010, and they just said, don't know what's wrong. And so you give up hope. And then I saw like 2 years ago, I went to a local guy, and same thing, did your colonoscopy and endoscopy, everything's great. You're fine. Like, but I'm not fine. Look at my symptoms, how my
wow.
stomach's acting out every time I eat. Here's the pictures. I look like I'm pregnant. I'm in pain. I can't eat. I have to starve myself if I'm going out to like a wedding. And they're just like, that's why sometimes medicine isn't the cure all. And I'm not putting medicine down because,
Right.
we need our doctors, but there is a place in this world for the energy healers like yourself.
Absolutely. That is so fascinating. Now I'm really wondering what's going on. Now I'm intrigued. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad, but we all have something. Like, give me some examples of some recent clients you worked on with Reiki. What are some of the things that you're helping them go through?
Recently I've had quite a few clients struggling with addiction, and not necessarily always addiction with drugs and
Hmm.
alcohol. Sometimes that, yes, absolutely. And sometimes just addictive patterns, whether it be,
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into detail,
Okay.
but any kind of addiction you can think of. But real of course, anytime you're trying to suppress or mask things in your life, feelings, then you're something needs to be worked on. There's some sort of blockage that you're not wanting to feel right away. That's why you mask it with whatever it is, drugs, alcohol, sex, eating, whatever. So that's really everyone who's been reaching out to me recently is struggling with something like that, some form of addiction. And so that's been really rewarding to help with.
All right. Well, thank you. Interesting to know. And it could be like smoking addictions, it could be
Absolutely.
men, women addictions, it could be alcohol, drugs, anything like that. Any addiction.
Any addiction, because when you're trying to, it's simply something they're trying to cover up. Anytime
Okay.
you have an addiction, of course, I'm not
Got it.
saying you can't be physically addicted to something. I'm
Yeah.
just saying
Yeah.
you become that way because you're trying to cope, right? And that's all emotion based. So
Ah, my goodness. Well, wow. It's fascinating, this type of work. Also, like, what about those suffering with like PTSD, those coming back from the military? Is that something energy healing could help with?
I'm sure it is. I've not really had a lot of clients with
Okay.
PTSD, and military. Maybe it's just not something I'm attracting in right now because it's not something
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with or trained for a whole lot.
Okay.
But I'm sure it could. I'm sure there is someone out there that like specializes in PTSD.
Interesting. And oh my goodness. Let's remind everyone at this time how we can contact you, please. Share again.
Okay, so my Instagram is the best way to get a hold of me. Um, My Instagram is third eye underscore candy.
Yep.
And then if you're ever interested in booking or just have questions, want to reach out to me, all the information is there. You can look at the link in my bio. You can message me, my phone number, email, all of that.
Perfect. And we still have, well, 2 minutes left of the show. So how did you kind of want to sum up for today? And also, wait, I have a quick question, but
Mhm.
like how do you know how many sessions someone needs? Like yeah, how does that part work?
Well, to be honest with you, our healing journey never ends ever in our entire life.
Really?
There's no way to say, like, oh, yeah, if you
Really?
come 6 consecutive weeks, you're going to be healed. Our healing journey never ends. Now, we can remove blockages, but there's always something else. That's the whole reason we're here as a human in life is to experience these challenges, overcome it, be able to experience all the good emotions, the more challenging emotions. I mean, it's just that's part of it. So, how many sessions to be determined?
Got it. And do you offer like an initial consultation if someone's interested?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. We can do a Zoom
Awesome.
meeting and go through all the things.
Oh, good to know. This is exciting. Are we going to be back again next week to talk more?
Yes, I'd love to.
Sweet. Can't wait because there's a lot of people out there that can really, benefit from this work. And maybe next week we can share your Instagram page too. And we could, talk about some stuff because like I'm peeking at it as we're talking. But it'd be good to see some of this stuff. And really, thank you so much for being here. So if someone wants to reach out one more time, tell them that handle.
Okay, it's third_eye_candy. So THIRDEYE_candy.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Pleasure getting to know you today. Thank you for sharing your backstory. And by the way, just want to point out as well, this is all done on Zoom, right? I mean, you could be anywhere around the world. You don't have to be in Oklahoma. This is something you could do, help people heal via Zoom like we're doing today.
Yes. Guided meditations, Reiki, energy clearing, emotion coding, all of that.
And also next week, can we talk a little bit about some of the tarot readings as well? I know you do that too.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely we can. Yes.
Good. I know that was something else I saw on your list, but you do a lot. So just like your dad, I assume people compare the two of you a lot with your work ethic.
In a sense, yeah, we're very different and very similar. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, genetics, right? Well, thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. Excited to talk with you again. And thanks for all the information today on this energy healing and Reiki. And also, don't forget, as an esthetician, she can help you with tarot readings, emotion code. More on that. We'll talk again next week. Have a great day.
Yes. Bye, Jill. Thanks.
Bye, sweetheart. We'll see you on Instagram. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.